That's so bad.
We're trying to get 15. Not able to. That's the average of the 3. He thinks that's good.
Yeah. I think it's going to be pretty humbling. Everyone likes to think that they're an athlete.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone finds out they're not pretty quick. So I guess I want to find out, what's not working properly. So at least then maybe I can have a little bit of structure around training to fix it. Up until I was in my sort of mid-20s, I was playing footy at the same time as playing golf. So definitely don't move as well as I would like. If I play a lot, so, if I had to play 3 or 4 days in a row, the 3rd and 4th day I'd be feeling it. I know my shoulders don't have great turn, range of motion, that sort of thing.
Yep.
And in work as well, I teach a lot.
Yep.
So, a lot of people don't move as well as they should, or, I see a lot of young guys who train, they lift weights, they are generally fit looking guys, strong guys, but they don't move that well.
Yep.
Rarely and poorly I train. I've got a gym at home, but it's pretty much just a rack, barbell and dumbbells. So it's all sort of trying to do bigger lifts so that I don't have to lift for long periods of time. So I just want to get in and do it.
How often? It's not very often.
A couple of times a week is a good week.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So main part of today is a movement screen. The 16 assessments that we run through from a movement screen perspective, and that's looking at all the important joints that are vital for a golf swing. We then will look at doing a counter movement jump. So that's giving me a little bit of an indicator into power that you can generate through the ground. And then it's looking at doing a golf swing on the force decks as well, which gives us data and real-time feedback on how much force you're putting through each foot at each aspect of the golf swing. So through the backswing, through impact, through follow through. And then from there, it's formulating a plan as to what does your exercise program look like. So first assessment is on your cervical rotation.
Yep.
We need about 70 degrees cervical rotation for a full backswing. So that's your neck, cervical area. So the movement that we're doing with this one is you're trying to rotate as far as you can to the side.
Yep.
And then you're going to try and drop the chin. And what we're looking for is, can you get your chin in line with your collarbone?
All right. And so it's just keeping your shoulders still.
Keep shoulders still, neck rotates. Yep, and then try drop the chin down. Perfect, and you can see collarbone through here.
Yep.
And
Tell you what,
getting
it was
in
tight.
line. Yeah, and that's it though. So there's guys that can get the range, but they're struggling to get there.
Yep.
And that's the max. So that side's looking, from this side, looking a bit nicer.
Would that make sense? Because that's your backswing. I'm generally turning
well, you're
more
working
that
into
way.
that more.
Than
Absolutely.
That way. Yeah,
so you just
that
better
felt
train
better.
through that. Next one I like to get out of the way nice and early, because most guys are going to be fine with this, is the wrist side of things. So what we're doing is we're going palms up, making a fist, and all you're going to do now is flex down. And what we're looking for here is about 60 degrees, which if I'm eyeballing that, that's definitely 60. Then you're going to roll up, same thing up. Perfect, so that's looking fine. Turn them to the side, and we do what we call radial and ulnar deviation. So we're going wrist down.
Yep.
And again, we're looking for about the same. Perfect, and then you try to bring them up as far as you can. Cool. And the reason we're looking at this is setting the golf club in your backswing.
Yeah.
So if you don't have those ranges, you can't then set and impact, same thing. Perfect. Cool. Can you just roll back the other way and try to hold that end range? Awesome. So notice here, there's a little bit of a difference. You're not supinating as much.
So with the left side?
Yeah. Are you feeling quite tight?
I am. I don't know. Looking at it, it just looks the same to me. I can't tell. Oh, no, I probably can.
A little bit off. Yeah. And that's...
No, it definitely felt different.
Tighter.
Felt tighter, yeah.
End of the day, this isn't a concern. That range is fine.
Yep.
It's just interesting seeing... You just came out of it. The reason I wanted you to go back is you came out of it really quick. So that kind of tells me you're a little bit uncomfortable to be there.
It definitely feels difficult.
Yeah. So there's again, grip strength data for a lot of people, and it's that forearm. I mean, you're someone that's swinging a golf club a fair bit a day. So you would be using those forearm muscles a lot.
Yeah.
So is there a fatigue aspect that going, an end of range with that, not liking it?
Yeah.
But it's building that grip strength. The data around the pros is there's some pretty high numbers that they're hitting on the grip strength.
Yeah.
Versus scratch golfers
the
and
average
your
Joe.
average
Yeah.
golfers.
Yep.
If you get yourself in a general setup posture,
Yep.
does that feel pretty normal for you?
Yeah. Yep.
And then what we're coming in and looking at is they talk about C posture and S posture.
Yep.
Are we in a C? Are we in an S? Are we quite neutral? For you, we're fairly neutral. We've got a little bit
So
of
when you
that
say
C.
C, is that rounded? Or?
C is rounded, yeah.
Yep.
So C would be you kind of rounded here, and
Yep.
you've got a little bit of that happening
Yep.
through here, but you've already flagged your shoulders to me.
Yep.
So I'm already going, okay, this could be something we'll definitely look deeper into. S is more of a anterior tilt, so you'll see them arch through the lower back, and they'll be a bit more bum out, but tilted forward, and
sort of
they've got
going.
that S.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. While you're in this position, what we're now going to look at is your rotation through hips and upper body. So what we want is in position.
Yep.
You then go arms across your chest, hips stay still, and what you're going to try and do now is rotate as far as you can, both directions. Okay.
I feel like I'm definitely going to be able to go
Further that way.
one way better.
Yep. And we're looking for about 60 degrees there.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
While I'm doing this, am I turning my head or that?
Trying to keep that quite neutral, so it's just that thoracic. Just go, go right again. That was significantly less. But again, that's your backswing.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, that feels like I should be able to move further this way.
Definitely. What we find for a lot of people is they've got range, but they don't have stability. So as soon as we put them in more stable positions, they can access that range better.
Yep.
And that's something that goes awesome. That helps us structure what a program looks like, because it's like, well, no, your range is there. We don't need to work on getting you that mobility, but we need to build your strength and stability of your joints so you can rotate through them.
Use it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So left side rotation for you.
Yep.
Same setup posture. What we're going to do now is try to keep the upper body still, and we're looking at the hips here. So we're trying to actually rotate the hips. So you bring one forward as far as you can, drop the other one back, and you're just trying to roll through those ranges.
And just sort of keep going back and forth.
As far as you can, and then rotate the other way.
Am I trying to keep my sort of knees?
You can bend the knees. Yep,
They're
that's
okay.
expected with the rotation. Awesome. Just go another one both ways. Yep, so that's pretty good. That was better.
So
They're feeling pretty similar?
I mean, they are, but I can't tell if one's going further than the other.
Yeah.
I'm sort of just going till it feels...
First one left looks sticky, but you got it second time around.
Yeah.
And for a lot of guys, it's just understanding the movement too. This is your anterior posterior tilt through your pelvis. So you're here in this setup, and then what you're trying to do is so if you think belt buckle, you go belt buckle to the ground, and then tuck the bum under.
Okay. Yep,
Go
that's
once
a
more.
different feeling.
Yeah, end of range anteriors. I mean, it's not comfy for anyone, but you're fighting that a little bit.
Yeah, this is horrendous.
You can come out of that.
Yeah.
You had good range, so I don't think there's any range issues for you through any of those. Obviously, your upper body, but the lower body not so much.
Okay.
So this is your lat test.
Yep.
So what we're doing here is we're getting into a quarter squat. So you're just against the wall. But what we're doing here is we're just seeing how far you can get.
Should you be able to touch your thumbs to the wall?
If you're in good range, yes. Okay.
That was uncomfortable.
So the right got there quicker than the left, which we expected.
Yeah. I could certainly feel...
What are you feeling?
Tight.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Through just lats or?
Yeah, just lats, but sort of more towards the middle of my back, but definitely that part of my back.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to look at what we call lower quarter rotation. So this is B stance, as we call it. So you're standing on one leg. We're going to do both, so I don't mind which we start with. Then a toe, just for stability. And what you're trying to do is rotate on this hip. So what that looks like is you're trying to wrap back as far as you can.
Yep.
Come back, and then you want to turn in. So we're looking at the internal, external rotation of your hip through both legs. So let's actually try keep shoulders still here.
Yep.
and just get the hip moving. That's better. So that's a bit more of a natural hip internal external rotation. So I like to look at the movement first, and then I'll come and constrict it a bit and try to rotate this way. Yeah, so bring that foot a little bit closer. Let's see if you can get a bit more rotation. Oh, okay.
It's pretty tight there.
Yeah, internal into the left.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Cool. Then come back into this way. Yeah, so a lot nicer through that internal rotation.
Yeah, that didn't feel anywhere
Okay.
near as, well, not painful, but uncomfortable.
Let's break that down a touch more. I just want to look at this left. I'm going to get you sitting here and just try and turn.
Yep.
Come back in. We'll do.
So again, this is looking at hips.
This is your internal rotation of the hips,
Okay.
just more stable now.
Okay, one at a time, or
Yeah, go one at a time. Okay.
definitely some
Yeah, so you're working hard.
discomfort there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Go your
horrible.
right. Cool.
Not feeling nearly as much on the
Yeah.
outside there. But that's
Do both together. Sometimes it's a nice visual to see both at once. So you can see how much further you've got.
so that's funny,
It's
isn't
another
it?
5 to 10 degrees.
Yeah, and I was working a lot harder.
Yep.
Felt like my left leg was
Yep.
working a lot harder.
So there's something hip-wise, so we would look at programming some movements that kind of get you loading through your internal rotation through that hip.
Okay.
But I dare say there's a single leg balance test that's coming up too that we'll see what your hip stability is like laterally as well.
Yep.
So balance itself, hands on hips, and then we're going to go knee up and hold that position. I'm just going to watch eyes open first, then we'll switch and then we'll go eyes closed. Actually, come back down. See how your foot's turned out here. Can you square that up?
Yep.
Awesome. Let's try again. Feel a lot harder?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I feel like my weight's sort of just sitting on the outside of my foot.
Yeah.
More
So
so than-
what reason I've done that, you can come out if you like. I see it a lot through all my clientele, but when we're not strong enough through the lateral hip, what we do is we turn the foot out to bring in TFL quad. So you're actually
hides it a bit.
Yeah, and you're changing. So you're kind of widening your center of mass, essentially, and that touch point.
Jeez.
So it's already flagging a bit of a lateral hip issue for me there too. Yeah. And rest, you could see your shirt twitching away.
Yeah.
So you're working hard.
So I can feel this
Yeah.
just really specific spots on my...
Yeah. That's lateral hip, glute med, glute min, those sorts of muscle groups.
Never really felt anything in here.
Yeah. We're going to try eyes closed now.
Yep.
So we'll see how you go with that. So go right again. Start with the right. Square that. Yep. And then get in. Okay.
That's so bad.
So we're trying to get 15 seconds.
We're not going to...
No chance. Knee coming out of flexion too.
I can just feel my foot working so hard.
Everything working. Yeah.
Keep me up here.
Knees working, hips working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's just rolling in to out on my foot.
Yep. And that's your stability, right? So it's if you don't have stability in each leg, how are you going to generate the power of the force?
That's correct. That's bizarre. It's the same again.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Wow.
You get that knee higher. Thank you. All right, rest there. Cool. So a little bit of a hip hike too. So what I'm looking at, just to give you an idea of one, how stable are you?
Yep.
Two, if you're not, what's working? So if you're in this position, are you hiking this hip to shift your mass over this leg so this hip doesn't have to do much? Are you so weak that you can't even do that? The hip drops and kicks.
Yep.
But also, let's say you're pretty square. How hard is everything down lower working?
Yeah,
and
very.
You were working pretty hard.
Yeah.
Foot was going, everything was going.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to these shoulders. I'm curious about the shoulders. So this is what we call a 90-90 test. So we're going to have you, I'll show you side on. Elbow at shoulder height in line with the shoulder itself. And then you're going to see if you can rotate that hand up.
Yep.
We're looking to get past the 90 here. We're going to do it in this standing position, and then we're going to get you in your golf posture and we're going to go for it again.
Okay. That's about as far as I've got there.
Fighting. So I would not, if that wrist comes back,
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that 90. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
This is not surprising. This felt like this would be where I struggle.
Yeah, that one's just there. So I would just give you that. But then the interesting thing here is going to be, so get your set up again.
Yep.
Feel like you're in that posture for you.
Yep.
All right, let's go left side first. So
And
bring
again,
that elbow
starting
up.
like that.
Yep.
Yep.
And let's see how far we can get there.
That's it.
Okay. So we're trying, ideally, hands back behind the spine for this.
Wow. That's ordinary. Same again.
Yeah. It is. It's better this side, but it's still not there. So that's another area straight away.
That walking in, I knew that was going to be ordinary.
Well, that's your backswing, right? Like if you can't get the arm there, then you've got to shorten it up.
I don't know if you've ever seen my swing. It's not super long. So
Okay,
that's
well, there you go.
sort of making sense.
The reach, roll, and lift test. This one's fun. It's bloody hard. But what you're doing is you're down hands and knees, elbows down.
Yep.
And then what we've got to do is roll.
Yep.
And see if you can then lift.
That looks like I won't be able to do that.
Let's bring that down. Don't mind which hand you start with. So roll one hand over. Now try to lift it straight up off the ground. Or can you straighten it? Yep. Back down. Awesome. Other side.
That is so bad.
And lift. Yeah.
That's
So
tough.
not able to supinate. Yep. Is that tougher than the right side? Come out of that.
Neither felt great.
Yep.
Yeah, that probably felt worse.
You
Like
can
I
come
felt
up
like I
out of
couldn't
that.
even get my hand
You couldn't?
this way. No.
Yeah. Once you tried it,
I
went
just felt
straight
like
back.
I was, yeah.
So again, you're in the bridge position. You're then going to lift as high as you can.
Yep.
Arms can be down if you like. And then we're going to lift a leg. You want to keep it level. We don't want you dropping.
Yeah,
we don't want you hiking. And let's see if you can hold that there for
15 seconds.
each leg. Can we get hips a touch higher? That's better. That's your full extension.
Why is this so hard?
Rest there.
This is going to suck.
Yep. And higher again, yep. Okay, rest there. Yeah, rest there. So I was just honestly
ordinary.
watching you. I don't know.
You would have been able to see me. It's
Like
like,
coming down,
Yeah.
the longer we went, that right hip was starting to drop. So again, it's a strength issue, this left hip to keep you up
right.
and high. So this hip extension, lateral hip strength that we look at with that kind of thing. So toe touch is quite simply feet together, knees straight. Can we?
Making
Get
a
down.
point to try and keep my toes straight here.
Yeah, this one won't affect too much, but feet together will make sure that happens. Cool. So that one's fine. So that's hamstring length.
Yep.
Final one, the best one of the lot. So your overhead squat. So this
Just looking
one,
at this feels like I'm going to struggle.
yeah, the thoracic hurts as you go down. So your arms overhead and you're trying to keep them back,
Yep.
right? And then from there, but then you're going to see if you can get down and back up.
Certainly can't go very low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot
And
happening
I've never
through that.
felt that part of my back during a squat.
Yeah. You went through a lot of anterior tilt through that too. So
As in
there's
going
core strength
that
that you can
way?
see. So as you were coming down, you're tilting
Yep.
forward. Yeah. Again, that's to try and help get that thoracic back as
Yeah.
well. But there's probably some core strength that's associated there too.
Okay.
All right. We're going to do the counter movement jump. Before I set it up, I will show you because it's,
Yep.
I like guys having a test before they actually do it. So if you want to jump over here.
So I'll be
you can see.
facing this way.
You'll be facing this way. What you're going to do is you squat into it, so you're down as deep as you can, and then you drive out of that and land back on them. Cool.
All right. So just do
Are
that.
you happy with that?
Yeah.
You got more in the tank though.
Okay.
You got
so go a bit more.
Go as hard as you can. That was better.
All right.
But you can try squat into it and absorb it as
Okay.
well. Okay, jump on now.
Shit.
This is your weight. Yeah, cool. Okay.
Big lunge.
So we're gonna go 3 jumps
Yep.
in your own time.
All the same, just jumping is.
Whenever you're, jump, land, reset, go again,
Yep.
jump, land, reset. There's no rush on it,
All right.
but when you're ready, go for it. And again. Awesome. All right, let's have a look. Jump height,
Yep.
36.6 centimeters. That's the average of the 3. He thinks that's good.
Yeah.
You've got about 3.9% more force through the right, which is pretty good. So rep 1, we can look at it. That was a bit more into your left. This one was
And this one was a lot into my right.
a lot into your right. So let's have a look at this one broken down.
Well, it just looks like
the
I'm.
end.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's that load. So what we would do with that then is probably your next session, we'd look more at knee flexion extension, so quad hamstring strength using another device that we've got, and see what the peak force is, see what your time to that peak force is, see what the asymmetry is with that side of things. But then again, there's great research around jump height and force. So that's your vertical thrust through impact
Yep.
and how much you can drive. In American terms, they talk 18 to 22 inches of jump height. So
45
yeah,
centimeters.
yeah,
Is that about right?
that, which is, that would be around your 18. So
Yeah,
you're
okay.
averaging, what was it, 36?
10 centimeters less.
Yeah. So let's then go, okay, can we get that up? And
Yeah,
that's
okay.
just lower limb strength and power.
Yep. Just jump higher.
Yeah. More strength, more power. So that's that one. And then we'll try the swing. Just roll through some swings, just load up essentially, and then we'll get it from there.
Cool.
Cool.
Oops.
Love it. Is that your full backswing?
That's it.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah.
All right.
Just-
If you try load into your back leg more
Yep.
through it, like purposely.
I can make a longer backswing,
Yeah.
and with one of these balls, you probably won't know how uncomfortable I am doing it.
Yeah.
But I'll sort of show you.
Yeah. Okay. So your force just reduces then too. Oh, you probably went a bit light on that, but
So load a bit more onto the
yeah,
right
it's just
side.
curious to see if that does anything. Cool. I stop that there. Let's have a look at rep 5. Yeah, 3 was where I was like, yeah, is that it?
That is. Yep. I've seen my swing a lot of times. That's about all I've got.
Then 4 was
So that was where I said I can make it feel like it's longer.
yeah. But I don't. You then weren't really putting much force
No.
down here. 5 was
So this one I
bit-
just felt like I was getting a bit more loaded up onto my right side.
Yeah. And that's probably a longer backswing then. Interested, just knowing the couple of assessments I've done, like the concentric peak power number for you is higher, which is good. That means you're producing more force than the other guys, and you're probably the higher cap of things. So looking here, this is your backswing,
Yep.
and then obviously shifting
Onto the
into
front foot.
into that front foot. And you're looking at load into front leg too. So ideally this spike is probably a bit higher. And that's probably going to come from your lateral shift and that vertical thrust, a bit more force, power out of
Getting
that.
onto
that
the left
lead.
side.
Yep.
From the top of the back.
And we can probably roll through a few more and see if we can make that happen.
Yep.
But they're all pretty similar load-wise, which is cool. I'm just interested to see if we can actually push into that front leg a bit more. All right, let's see if we can get you shifted into this leg more, front leg on the downswing.
Okay.
That was much better. How'd that feel?
Yeah, I felt like I was getting onto my left side a bit more.
Yep. Force-wise, definitely.
I'm going to be disappointed if they weren't any different.
Your first one definitely was. Previously, you were sitting around closer to 800 here.
Yeah.
So that's jumped up. That's probably what, let's say 950.
And
Then it came back down.
In terms of actual kilos of what I actually did there, what did that jump actually look like?
There you go. Peak power per kilogram increased 5.7% compared with last time. So it's obviously a better force production.
Yeah. Be interesting to do this at the same time as having a TrackMan behind you and see
100%.
what that's doing for, club speed, ball speed.
Definitely. Backswing. That's definitely a bigger backswing.
A little bit of
first for you.
More of a shift onto the left side.
Yeah, you can see that shift happening. In and out of that. You're definitely loaded into that left heel much harder. I think what would be great for guys like yourself with this is when we come back, let's say we did that speed and power work and we come back in 3 months' time and we chuck you back on it. Are those numbers increasing? That means you are producing more force and torque through it. And then your counter movement jump. Are you getting a better jump height?
Barely leaving the ground.
Yeah. So what would happen from here is I would build you a mobility plan based around the things that we found. So for you, some shoulder external rotation, your thoracic rotation, your hip internal rotation. They were the main standouts. And that's where your mobility focus would be. That's you specifically. We would then look at building you a strength program. Things that we found there is your lateral hip strength. We'd be looking at some core strength, rotational core strength, shoulder external rotation strength. And obviously then in and around that, we want to get you strong through upper and lower limb. Yeah. So you have a full body plan with focus areas that then shifts. You're looking at, for most guys, we need at least 12 weeks. That's where we know we get the physiological adaptation. And so we do blocks. We do sort of either 2 or 3 blocks of 4 to 6 weeks of training. For most, it would look like 3, so a general prep phase where we get the body primed and in the gym regularly again. And then we'd decide from there, do we need to build your strength? And do we want to do that solely on its own and then shift into power in that 3rd block? Or are you someone that's strong enough, so we'll do a bit of a hybrid of strength and power together?
Yeah.
And then you have your mobility stuff going along in the background as well. Questions?
No, nothing jumped out that I wasn't sort of expecting.
Yeah.
But no, it's very humbling. Just not being able to lift your arm off the ground and stuff.
Yep.
That was that hurt. But no, it was really good. There's a lot of benefit to this. For golfers of any level. Yeah. Right? It doesn't have to be elite golfers or professional golfers.
Yeah.
I think, your average club golfer is going to maybe see more benefit to this than someone else.
Yeah, definitely. And it's then pairing that up with your service.
Yeah.
And getting that swing and that sequencing in check. I think there's a lot that then comes for that for the average golfer.
That was really good.
For sure. The pro and the higher level guys, their plan is going to be a lot more strength, power focused. How can we get club speed up? How can we get vertical thrust and lateral shift and build that strength and power?
Yeah.
Versus your average golfer is going to have a lot more of that mobility focus with a general strength power plan. But yeah, the elite guys will be big, heavy, fast lifts, getting that velocity speed up and those sorts of things. Yeah. Those ground reaction forces. Definitely.